everybody, welcome back to another video. Today is just going to be about the photography challenge that I put out like months ago. Sorry it took so long. It had been running non-stop since I had made that video, and I had to just accept the day it was sunny and go for it, and finally I've been able to put it all together. So the challenge was to use my skeleton bones washi tape with some sand, which I don't have sand, but I do have dirt. So I decided to use that with my plants and a skull prop that we had 3D printed years ago, and use that in the photography because it went together. I have the plants, I have the dirt, I have the skull. You know, it really ties in with the theme of the product. It was definitely a challenge with the lighting, with the sun. I kind of wish it was overcast more than bright and sunny, but like I said, it had been raining constantly, and after I filmed this, it had downpoured. So there is no going back. I'm just rearranging the plants and the washi tape and stuff here. I did have fun with this. I probably will do something like this again for future products. So yeah, and I'll show a couple of the images here that I liked, and then we'll jump into Krita, which is free, to start kind of tweaking them and cropping them and all that fun stuff. Alright, so in Krita, instead of creating a new document, I actually just opened one image, and then I went to layer, import layer, and then brought all the images in. I didn't want to start a new layer and then have everything be off center with my custom canvas size. So yeah, so I'll go through all the images here one by one. I really like how they turned out. I kind of wish I had focused a little bit more on the tape in some of them, but again, I had limited time because once I finished doing this, even though it looks nice and sunny, it rained really awful. It just downpoured. I think this is my favorite one because the skull is here and the skull is here too. So yeah, those are all the images. And some of the tools I'll be using to just kind of tweak this, they're all going to be under filter and adjust. We have auto contrast, burn, color balance, adjustment curves, desaturate, all that fun stuff. And I'm probably going to be using the color balance and let's see, and the levels the most. So I'm going to start with the levels. And I'll go over this first, and then I'll just kind of time lapse the rest of them in case I don't like what I'm seeing. So let's see, where did I find it? Levels. Here we go. So this is pretty similar to how you have it in Photoshop and Affinity Photo, where this is your midtones, your darks, and your brights. If you need something brighter, you push the whites towards to the left, and that really gets rid of the midtones and everything else. Oh wait, it's not live, hold on, sorry. There we go. So as you can see, I took a lot of the midtones out and made them much brighter. That looks horrible, so we're not going to do that. Put that back. And the same with the darks. If I push this to the right, it's going to take out a lot of those bright spots. So as you can see, it's really dimmed this down. I can see more of that color. In the midtones, I want to get them darker. I move them to the, or sorry, brighter till I move them to the left. And to the right, makes it darker. Got a really cool look though. Not what I'm looking for, but you know. And let's see, what did I say? Adjustment. No, I'm gonna use, do color balance. So if I need this to pop a little bit more, which in all honesty, I use this with my camera, by the way, which is my smartphone. It's a Samsung Galaxy Note 7 or 8. It's pretty old. The colors came out pretty nice. I mean, I have no complaints about them, but if it had turned out too blue, I can go ahead and take the shadows and make them a little less blue. Make them a little bit more red in them, some more blue. You know, I can just really tweak this. So I don't think I'm going to need to, but I might adjust some of these a little bit. So cancel that. And let's see, I might... Don't want to invert it. Let's play with this for a second and see if I can get something interesting. Yeah, it's doing a little. You can make it more saturated, which I kind of like. It does pop a lot more from the shadows. So if I do this, the dark areas are more desaturated, which is a pretty nice look. So you can see the green is left in there and there's still some color in here, but the dark area is just almost pure black and white. If I do this, it really pushes that up a little bit. And if you look at this area here on the leaf, you can't really see too much of a difference, which is nice. It's very subtle. But even if I put this down all the way here, there's still some green. So I'm going to put that back up. I might actually tone down. Actually, let's bring some more color back into the bright spots. See how that looks. So you have to be careful here because this part is turning more purple. So I'm going to be very, very careful about how that looks. Alright, so now we've gone over some of the features that I'm going to use, or the filters. I want to make a filter mask because then I can just turn it on and off and I can make these adjustments per layer versus the entire image. And it's non-destructive, so if I don't like how it looks, I can just turn it off. So if you see here, if I turn this on, it looks darker. Turn it off, it's back to normal. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and time-lapse. I'm working on a couple of these, and then hopefully you enjoy what I do, and we'll kind of review this at the end.
Fill me out with your smile, now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame, I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down, 'cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 I'm safe and sound.
Okay, so I went and did some minor editing to this. A couple images. I didn't do all of them, but I am kind of happy with how, for the most part, you know, given the circumstances, they turned out. I did try to get a little bit of color back into the white skull here. I didn't do that with the first two, but the other ones, as you saw, I had a little bit of red into them because they brought out the shadow and a little bit more. It was, I don't know, I just wanted to mess with it. I thought it looked neat. So because these images would technically be for Etsy, the next step I would have to do is to crop it in a square format and then just kind of resize it. So this one I like. unfortunately the skull was too far away, but I added a little bit more red into the midtones and shadows, and it really, you can see like the honeycomb pattern on the inside, which is how we printed the skull. Because it was 3D printed with filament and all that fun stuff, and it looks pretty neat. I think it really brings it out. It's really subtle, but let me actually turn this off. The color balance, you can see it looks more green and flat, but bringing in a little bit more color kind of makes it pop a little bit more. And the nice thing is it didn't really make too much change to the way the washi tape looks. It still looks pretty color accurate. It is a very subtle change, but it's not enough to be way different than what the product would look like when you order it and get it, you know, delivered to your home. I did the same thing here, but not as much. I think I think it was the levels I changed, and it didn't work with the way the levels are. So I'd have to go back and fix that because this is too sharp of a highlight here, or a midtone even. But I like the way the jaw looks. Like, let me actually turn some of these off. Turning the levels off, and the color balance. Or the cross channel, sorry. I think that's what did it in. Yeah, the cross channel put a little bit more color in, and the levels I kind of screwed up here. But I like the detail that it all brought out there in the front of the teeth. I did lose a little bit over here on the left of the jaw, but it's not enough that I would really worry about. It's not the focus of the image. And then the last one, which I put all the stuff that I was tweaking into the first images back into this one with the color balance and the levels by using the red back into color balance, and really bring that back into the skull. Because if I take it off, it looks very greenish blue, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because there's a lot of green and blue in this image. But it just seemed like too much, so I took it out. And the levels, I actually brightened it up a little bit because it seemed a little too dark. So yeah, those are the images I fixed, and now we're just gonna crop them to it. Well, the hard part is gonna be cropping them because there's two ways I can do this. I can crop the entire image, or I can crop per layer. So I'm gonna actually do per layer because if I do the whole image or the whole canvas, it's not going to be what do you call it? Centered properly for each layer. So in the crop tool, I went to the tool options and I put the ratio to 1 to make it a square, and I locked that. So now I shouldn't be able to make this, I can't really adjust it unless it's proportionate to a square, which is what I want. So now I can go ahead and crop this and kind of get the best look here for this image, for this layer. And that's, so obviously the canvas is going to stay the same because I only cropped the layer, and I think that's not too bad, but I probably want to focus a little bit more on that washi tape. So I think if we did something like this, so the center point is going to be here, so it's going to be a little off center. I think that works. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. So we're going to turn that one off and do the same for the other ones here. This might be a little easier. Make sure that's locked. There we go. Yeah, this might actually have a better crop to it. Shrink this down just a smidge. Doesn't look terrible. Not the greatest picture either, but probably should have taken some better shots. This one will work really nice. It's a good jawbone. I don't have the skull in there, unfortunately, but it's still pretty. It's got the bones, you know, got the creepiness. Crop this a little more. I'm not really worrying too much about what the final image size is going to be because I already know these are going to be too big. If I were to theoretically put these on Etsy, because I've done this before and I usually have to downsize it to 2000 pixels. So that looks pretty good too. Actually, I like this one, even though it's a little like bone, washy bone. Oh, I just realized there's 2 rib cages showing, so I probably wouldn't want to use that image either. Unfortunately, that's okay. So it's really just to show what you can do with limited resources. That's not too bad either. So another thing too, when you go to crop in Krita, it's not destructive until you flatten that layer or convert it to a PNG file or a JPEG. So if you don't like this, you can just, with the crop tool still selected, you can just click on the image again. It'll retain where you cropped before, and you can go ahead and adjust it as needed, either by expanding or shrinking or moving where you cropped that image, which is pretty nice. Let's see, did I get them all? I think I did. Yeah. Let's see if there are any other images. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for using Krita and your camera to really get some images in there. This was all used with things I already had around the house. I'm pretty sure everybody has access to dirt. So, and plants, like you can just go to outside, you can go to the park, you can use your lawn, you can go use the lawn of the apartment complex. You know, kind of sneak in your neighbor's lawn if they don't mind. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm actually pretty happy. Krita's not photography, but photo editing tools have definitely come a long way. I am not the biggest fan of using them, but the ones that I did use work really well, and those would be the ones, in my opinion, a beginner would need to make these product photography images or whatever else you need just starting off. And I think it's a good introduction to it as well. And I do like that these are non-destructive actions as well, which is what Affinity Photo has, where you make the adjustment, but it's a separate layer, so to speak. So you can turn it on and off without ruining your original photo. You can also use it to compare the before and after of the image. So if I'm looking at this, I'm like, you know, I don't like how those hot spots are turning too pink. So I can go ahead and turn these off and look to see what was causing that. Obviously it's the cross channel. So I can go ahead and open that back up with the properties and adjust it. So I can take that back out, lower that saturation a little bit. And I can go in here and focus on it per channel and all that fun stuff. But, you know, keep it simple. Just basic introduction how to do that. So we're gonna hit OK. And as you can see, I don't have that hot spot as much as it was there before. It's still kind of there, but not as noticeable. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know in the comments below. If you want to recommend another product and try and challenge me with another suggestion, I will try my best to get that out way sooner than this one. Things are finally calming down and the weather is no longer raining every day, or 10 times a day even. So I have more time to do things if it requires me to be outside. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe for the next video that will be coming out. Usually I have a list of videos in my Discord channel. If you want to join, you can do that in the description below. And you can see what other videos I'll be making next. There's no real order to them yet, but you can kind of have an idea of some future content. Alright, thanks for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.